So making the most of your role as an athletic director in 2024. You're all very welcome to our webinar today. We're really looking forward to discussing some great tips and advice we picked up from chatting with many athletic directors over the last year or so. I'll keep today as short and sharp as possible, as I know you're a busy day ahead. And if you have to drop out at any stage, we'll ensure we reach out post-webinar with the recording of our session at the very least. So by way of a bit of an agenda today and kind of what we'll be discussing, I'll give you a bit of an introduction into who I am and who Tiegan is in relation to SportsKey and what we do here. I'm going to talk quite a bit about calendar challenges. It's something that comes up day in, day out when we're talking to athletic directors, and a brief overview how we can potentially level you up from spreadsheets and Google calendars, how going mobile and having a mobile strategy can really help save you time and get work done on the go. I'll also talk about just investing in technology and how, although maybe daunting, it can really lead to long-term results. And then what I'll also do is run through a demo of what we do here at SportsKey. And if you're struggling with scheduling, coaches, communication, managing facilities, and rentals of your venue, I think we can really help. And so stick around for that SportsKey demo. Even better, Tiegan's going to give you a sense of our March Madness offer that we have an offer on the demo today. And then we'll also go through some questions and answers that have popped up throughout the webinar. So Tiegan, you might give us, oh yeah, perfect. So in terms of introduction, I'm Hugh Gill, and I'm the VP of Sales for SportsKey. And I have Tiegan Ruddy, our Head of Athletic Director Partnerships, on the webinar today as well. I'm Irish, if you already can't tell from my accent. The sport I played was Irish Gaelic football for many years. I ended up playing 2 seasons in New York and Boston. I do love the odd pint of Guinness, and I've always had a huge passion for sports and technology. And it probably feeds into our mission here in SportsKey to try and help 20 million people play sport through our SportsKey software by the end of 2024. My last trip that I had was to the NFHS National Athletic Director Conference in Tampa in December, where I had the pleasure of getting to meet a lot of the athletic directors that took the trip down. And I guess the reason I wanted to kind of put today together was that we spent the last year chatting to thousands, if not hundreds, of athletic directors from all over the States. And we've collected some really useful tips and advice around certain simple areas that is really helping them get through their day and maximizing their role as an athletic director. I actually couldn't believe the sheer amount of work, hours, and responsibility that an athletic director has to deal with on a day-to-day basis. So if any of the tips help that we've put in place below, we'd be delighted to get some feedback. And then Tiegan, you might give us a bit of introduction to your background and maybe some information about today.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Hugh. First of all, you're very welcome to this webinar, and thanks for taking the time to hop on. So my name's Tiegan Ruddy. I am a current professional soccer player, and I've played D1 soccer in America, in Connecticut. So I've seen firsthand kind of what it takes to run an athletic department as well. And I know that your task is there's a lot involved. So hopefully you can pick up some advice, some tips throughout this webinar. And if you have any questions at all, please pop them into the chat there, type them in, and we'll answer them at the end. Also at the end, I'll run through just a quick exclusive deal that will be available to all you guys that have attended the webinar today. So stick around for that. So thanks very much. Back to you, Hugh.
Thanks, Tiegan. So this is something we hear day in, day out from athletic directors: Google calendars and death by Excel spreadsheets. So, what we've kind of put together here is I've had a lot of quotes that I hear. So we use 10 or 15 Google calendars. No one in the school can access the calendars. The coaches can't see the available slots. No one can request times. I'm blue in the face spending hours every day changing Google calendars and spreadsheets, printing out spreadsheets for everyone. So, if you hear these things or you're experiencing these things day out, give us a little thumbs up in the chat there, and we'll get back to you. But just some simple tips in trying to level you up from Google calendars and Excel spreadsheets to save you a huge amount of time. Have a look at investing in scheduling software specific for athletic departments. And this can really free up vital time for other tasks. because there's huge amounts of calendars out there, very cheap and potentially free, that have a lot more features and functionalities that Google Calendars and spreadsheets don't have. And this can really help you save a lot of time. Some of those are Team Up and Teamer. There's also number 2 there is try and use a calendar that coaches can actually see. It's very simple, but if you cut out all the phone calls and emails about, is it free, is it not free, when can I change, can I request slots, it will save you a lot of time with that communication between all your coaches and teams that you're currently dealing with. So also try and use a scheduling tool that actually does the work for you. So what I mean by this is, if you make bookings for your coaches, for your teams, it actually sends them automatic messages. If you change their slots, if you cancel their slots, it punches out messages to them to let them know that that's been made. And ultimately, that will help you save a lot of time. One big thing we get is, Hugh, if you can solve our problem and give us an all-in-one calendar solution, it would really, really help. So try and opt for a calendar that allows you to break your calendars out, but also see everything on the one page at the one time, because it just makes it very easy to be able to manage all the schedules, all the bookings you have day in, day out, week on, month on as well. And I'll show you just in our SportsKey demo, I'll show you a bit about how that actually works through our software. Okay, so this might seem a bit self-explanatory, but I've seen a lot of athletic directors are still chained to their desks at time because they're using everything on their desktop. So, in today's age, I think personally, and a lot of people agree that pretty much on a personal level, we run everything off our phones. So everything from banking, from Venmo to Netflix to Messenger to fantasy football. And it allows us to do a lot of stuff on the go. We don't have to sit at home doing it on the computer. There's no reasons why athletic directors can't do the same when it comes to managing all the activities that they have to do on a daily basis on their phone. So like Microsoft Teams, calendars, making sure all the websites that you have to kind of go through every day, that they're all mobile optimized and you fully know how to use them on your phone. Recently I understood how to pretty much do everything on Microsoft Outlook on my phone, and it's actually helping me save huge time instead of having to come home and do everything, at my office. So some examples of really making use of this is some athletic directors have told me they have 6 or 7 websites they have to check in every 2 or 3 hours. You can actually simply download a website as a home app on your phone. And what that means is if you're out and about, if you're on the fields, if you're on the ice rink, if you're on a turf field, you can actually access those websites by pressing one button and it pops up on your phone. So having a mobile first strategy can really help you save a lot of time. And then it ultimately allows you to kind of access all your communication in one place. Some innovation around kind of mobile friendly strategies that we've seen in some big schools recently, if you have facilities like turf fields or ice rinks or gymnasiums, is what we call remote access control. So, usually you have to, people have to phone you to open up, to lock up. You have to phone, obviously, ground staff. And with remote access control, you can put like these automated locks on the door, and you can control the opening and closing of doors through your phone, which just makes it really easy to manage the facilities at your school. So just some really handy tips to be able to break away from your desk. Okay, so this is a really big one from my side, and probably the main one I want to talk about today. So in terms of increasing your rental revenue, so this can be a huge revenue generator for a lot of athletic directors, but they just don't know it yet. Or potentially the processes involved for the last 10 or 15 years have just been way too admin heavy that you don't maximize the facilities or the sports facilities at your school. And sometimes you're sitting on a gold mine. And the tips I'm going to talk about here, they can be implemented yesterday very easily. They're all free to use, and just some tips I've picked up of some schools that are doing a really good job of this. And we hear of athletic directors that their budgets are being cut year in, year out, which is costing them when it comes to software, equipment, food, buses. So in terms of like some cases that I've heard about, there's some athletic directors that have put some of the tips I'm about to kind of show you here in place and implemented, and within a year are now making hundreds of thousands of dollars from rental revenue at their school if they have any sort of gymnasiums, courts, turf fields, ice rinks. In some cases, there's a district I know that went from zero rental revenue. They invested in a rental software solution like SportsKey, and within 5 years, they were making $1 million of rental revenue. That was all going back into the budget for the athletic department. But just in terms of the tips involved in the screen here, I think last year, Tiegan, we emailed roughly about 1,000 athletic directors, I think it was, to ask them, do they rent their facilities? I think roughly 50% came back to us and said they do, and were we interested in renting. But most of those schools that came back to us, they didn't have any pictures or indication that they rent their facilities on their website. So just a really easy win is if you have these sports facilities, get simple pictures. You can do it on your mobile phone. Stick them up on your website. Just say facility rentals and stick them up on your website. You'd be surprised at the reaction or where people can actually find you. A lot of schools, athletic departments have great social media stretch. So start pulling in or tagging local groups or local clubs to let them know, hey, you have some free slots at the weekends, at the evenings. Connect with some of your local sports and clubs about potentially hosting events or tournaments at your school. Some of the figures I've seen for 1 or 2 day tournaments can be massive. Also, when you put those pictures up on your website, talk about some of the opening times you have and potentially talk about prices too. So information is key for some of these renters. And I think the big one that I've seen a lot of athletic directors do and make very use of it is that promoting your facilities in-house on open days and parent-teacher meetings can be huge. So a lot of your parents may be involved in coaching or teams or clubs. And by simply bringing them on a tour of the sports facilities from an athletic department point of view, you can really attract them to rent your facilities, because most of these clubs in your community don't have access to the type of facilities that your school does. So this is one that comes up over and over again, is potentially investing in tech and yes or no in terms of an athletic director. But I know from my experience, this can be daunting at times, but genuinely using technology as an extra pair of hands or resource is vital in winning. I hear about athletic directors, they need they'd love 2 or 3 extra staff, but they just can't, they don't have the budget for it. But simply putting a small portion of budget towards some technologies that allow you access all of your registrants or your documents or your processes in one place just makes it so much easier in terms of time, and can feel like you do have an extra pair of hands. We've seen some athletic directors come on board with SportsKey and they roughly save 5 to 10 hours a week. So that's huge. So it allows you access all your documents in one place if you get good technologies in place. And what it does as well is the process doesn't change year in, year out. You're getting rid of paper. It's all saved in the cloud. And that's the key. So you have good structure in place year on year. There's a lot of athletic directors that have to manage a lot of staff. So if you can have technology in place that allows you all to collaborate very easily, it just means then you're winning with your team. So invest in tech, invest in the right tech, take trials, ask for references, but in the long term, you'll save a lot of money and time in doing so. There's a little quote just down below from SportsKey: has been everything and more so far. It has made our admin 10x easier, and it's just what we're after. So this is the type of reactions that we get here. But yeah, Tiegan, if you want to pop on to the next slide. So hopefully some of those tips and advice can help. And I guess what we're trying to do is just kind of give you some value add from all of the conversations that we've had with athletic directors on a daily basis, and also at the conferences that we're attending, like the NFHS in December. So we're SportsKey, and we're a sports facility management software company specifically designed for athletic directors in schools and colleges. So what we try and do is help you save huge time in scheduling facilities and rental revenue as well, and really reduce the process on how that's currently done if you're doing it manually. So here are some testimonials from some good champions of ours: Bishop Guertin, Lake Forest, and British International School of Chicago, who actually have the remote access in place. And Tiegan will be very happy to kind of put you in touch with some of these, champions if you did want to kind of reach out after the webinar. So What I might do now is just kind of give you a sense of what I've been talking about and how we can help. So I'm going to share my screen and give you just a sense and give you a big slice of what SportsKey do and how we can potentially help if you're interested. Let me have a quick look here. Okay, perfect. So if you can see my screen here, essentially this is our system's all cloud-based, and this is the internal dashboard of our software. So I was kind of touching on kind of Google spreadsheets and calendars, in lots of different places and lots of different calendars and tabs. So this is the internal dashboard of our software. And this is where you can manage and look after everything to do with all your sports facilities at your school, schedules, communication, coaches, schedule. Like, and if I look here at the screen, you can see all of the calendars in one area. And then you can also break those calendars out into separate calendars. That makes it very easy to manage on a daily basis everything that's happening at your school. You can also check out a weekly calendar, check out a monthly calendar. You can also check in a daily schedule to see where your gaps are. And most importantly, just recently, we've built some specific features for athletic directors. One is a schedule view. So a lot of other calendars don't have this, and it just gives you a really easy way. If I wanted to look at the next 5 days in my school, I can see morning to evening, what facility and who's on at what time very easily, and I can just push that out then to my team as well and collaborate that with my business administration office and my athletic department and anyone else that needs to see it. So what I might do here now as well is I've talked about online requests and giving your coaches the ability to see your calendar and rental revenue. So this is what kind of the second side of our software here that really helps save huge amount of time between your coaches and your external teams or groups that are using your facility. So this is what we call our online public booking calendar. And this is where everyone can see what you have to offer at your school or as an athletic director. And what it does, it allows people to be able to see what that calendar looks like. So this saves huge amounts of time and communication back and forth. If it's an external group looking to rent, they can request and pay for it. Obviously, if it's one of your coaches, they can request it for free, just making that very easy. So we have, because we work with so many education in terms of schools and colleges, and we have a request feature. So we have online bookings so you can maximize your assets, but also you can get to control and accept or reject and have that approval process that comes into you to accept or reject those bookings. So you have a shop window 24/7, but you always have full control of who's going to be on your facility. So what I might do is really quickly is pop into a booking. And let's say I want to make a booking here for the next 8 weeks on field one. Again, you can ask as much information as you would like from your coaches or your external teams. Let's say Hugh's team, and we say practice. You can ask them if people are attending. And also at this point here, if they're external groups using your facility, you can also ask for them for their public liability insurance, their vetting, whatever you would like to be able to ask at this stage. And then also you can make sure that they read and accept your terms and cons that are linked here. So it comes to a page, they can simply pop their details in where they can pay for it. If it's your coaches, they can request for free if you give them a promotional code. And within 2 or 3 clicks, your coach or an external team has requested facilities at your school, making it really easy to be able to kind of push that out. On the inside, what happens now is that request has been sent to the athletic department or the business office or the athletic director. And that booking then pops up on the inside of the system, all completely wrapped up. So you can see who it is, what facility they're looking for, all the details that you've asked them. A nice one here as well is you can actually message your coaches. If you make bookings or they request bookings online, you can message your customers all within the application. So all the history is there. And then it's up to you to simply accept or reject this booking. So I'm going to accept it for $720, press one button, and everything is taken care of. So there's lots of other features that we offer here. Like one is kind of clinics, camps, and classes. In the summertime, you're looking to kind of drive revenue and automate all your camps. You can do it through our software. And there's lots of other functionality around insights and usage and metrics that you can kind of figure out what's actually happening at your school. So what I'm going to do now, what I'd like, Tiegan's going to talk to you about, potentially our offer in place. But if you want to see more here, please do book in a demo, and I can go through a lot more of a bespoke demo with yourself and your school. So let me stop sharing.
Yeah, so thanks very much, Hugh, and thanks guys for sticking around. So look, all questions are welcome. I know we have a few there in the chat, so if you have any questions you want to know the answers to, pop them in, and we'll answer them in just a moment. So look, just to make this a little bit more interactive, if you guys want to take out your phone, you can actually scan this QR code if you've liked what you've seen so far and you think SportsKey could be of use to you at your school. You can scan this QR code, and this is just kind of exclusive to webinar attendees now today. If you scan this, you can sign up for a free demo, 30 minutes online demo with one of our specialists that will walk you through basically how you will use a system on the inside and how it would look for any admins using it for your school. Also, with our SportsKey March Madness offer, with that, if you do book in the demo in March, you will you think you might like this, we will offer you a free 2-week trial, and then if all going well, also included in the deal is an offer of 15 months for the price of 12. If you like SportsKey and you want to go ahead with us. So look, that's what our offer includes.
You really offer 15 months for a price of 12, Tiegan?
Yeah, so that's our offer, just for March only. So if this is something that you would like to do, I'll also be in touch throughout the week, and any questions I'll be on hand to answer them. So look, thanks very much for your time. I'll just go through the questions.
We have some questions, yeah.
Yeah, we have a few questions here, Hugh. So I'll just call them out to you.
Yeah, fire ahead, Tiegan.
Yeah, perfect. So Ruth says, can I limit how far in advance my coaches book?
Yeah, that's a really good question. We get it all the time that, you don't want an open book that people can book for 52 weeks of the year. So yeah, through the software, you can put all the rules in place that you want to make sure people requesting online are requesting within your limits. So if that's a 10-week limit or 20-week limit or 30-week limit, you can put that in place. So any bookings that are coming in online, you'll be able to deal with them, no problem.
Perfect. Hopefully that makes sense. Luke, what if we don't do credit card? Malcolm has given him an answer, I think. Malcolm must be a user
before. So that's like, if you don't do credit card, we use a payment platform called Stripe, so it's really easy. People can just put their details in online, and that shoots money straight to your Stripe account, so that the payments are all done very easily without any machines or credit card options. Alternatively, if you wanted to take online bookings and actually create invoices when you're accepting those, you can do so as well in a touch of a button, and it creates automatic invoices to be sent to your customers.
Perfect. And then Ruth actually has another one. Is it possible to host a 4-week soccer camp at our school and collect payment and personal details?
Absolutely. So yeah, some of our recent customers have kind of talked about they do 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 4-week kind of big summer camps in the quieter time and when the facilities aren't as busy. So yes, that's absolutely no problem. You can create those camps on our software, and you can take registrations and payments from the parents or the kids within a couple of clicks.
Perfect. Hopefully that makes sense, Ruth. Luke again has another one. Is there any way to view revenue or usage? Good question, Luke. There is.
Yeah, very important. And obviously, if you come on board as SportsKey, our whole job is trying to help you save huge amounts of time, right? But what's a bit more tangible is, can we really increase the revenue by, in a minimum 30%? So we have a whole insight section for your staff, for your business administration, for your athletic directors to be able to see all the usage and metrics around revenue and all the insights that you might want to pull from the system. So that's all clickable within within one click.
Perfect. Brilliant. What route. Oh, there's 2 routes actually. As I was wondering, what kind of training is available for my staff?
Yeah, good question. So our onboard, we have a whole onboarding team, and it's something we take, we put a lot of pride in. So it's up to us to make sure you can use the system even better than what we do. So we have a whole rollout and onboarding plan in the first 30 to 45 days of coming on board, which includes lots of hand holding. We set your account up, we make sure you can use it. We make a bit of a go live plan and work from a date coming backwards, to make sure we have everything in place then to be able to make sure in the first 30 to 40 days you're already seeing benefits from using SportsKey. And then we're here for live support then as and when you need it.
Perfect. I don't know which route this is now asking this one, but what facilities would perform the best with rental income with your software?
What I found is ice rinks are probably the most expensive out there and have the most demand. I think some ice rinks are fetching $400 or $500 an hour. So I mean, you can do the maths on that if it's done correctly. But typically, what I see is as really good rental income kind of facilities are turf fields, gymnasiums, basketball courts, ice rinks. Obviously, swimming pools tend to do very, very well. And then some in depending on seasonality, but tennis courts actually drive. If a lot of tennis courts, you can get a lot of camps and tournaments in for those.
Yeah, Billy says, can you divide a facility? Example, split a soccer pitch into quarters.
Yeah, really good point. Most of our customers split their courts, their pitches, their fields all into halves, quarters, and thirds, and our system does that for you. So you can split it out, and the system actually works everything out. So if you have a full court booking, it blocks it to 2 half courts. Vice versa, if a half court's booked, it blocks out the full court. But it allows you to maximize the other court as well, and that can be booked then online or by someone from the admin team.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, Hugh. Yeah, look, that's all the questions there now. So look, thanks so much for attending, everyone. And I will be in touch.
Thanks so much.
Possible next step. So thanks very much, guys.
Appreciate the time, everyone. Talk to you soon.